Thank you. That was a great wrap up, and I will do my best try of continuing to wrap up. So let me just share a few things, sort of some concluding thoughts. I mean, this has been a really, to me, very inspiring and motivating day. We heard early on from Brian about his perspective as I shared some of the data and gave a sense of like what we're seeing, some of the data that are really driving us and motivating this work, but also things that we should be continuing to monitor and hold ourselves and other folks accountable for. Like, why is this going on? We need to be doing more. So I like to have some databases to this. I really appreciate Priscilla Blackfoot from Yakima Nation coming and honoring us with a blessing. Really appreciate hearing about multiple pathways towards recovery and people's experience with methamphetamine, also understanding the context of methamphetamine in people's lives. I just can't say enough about how important that is. We also had a really great sort of pro tip spotlight from harm reduction experts around the state. I feel like I went to an underground club and I don't know, like the Rolling Stones showed up or something, seeing Christina, Peter, and Sam show up. So that was really wonderful. And, really great conversation today also about treatment medications. And I think understanding where and how treatment medications can fit in and be part of this work. And then I think really nice stuff around contingency management. It's not sort of a standalone treatment. It is a really important complementary tool. It can have added effect. It can be an engagement tool. So it's a really nice resource. And I appreciate Sarah Parent for coming, helping facilitate that, and the folks describing their experiences using those interventions in the real world. Because I think that's so important. So much of contingency management work and research has been sort of in this rarefied treatment world. Oh, it's a little different now in primary care or at a harm reduction setting or a housing setting. So really appreciate seeing how folks have made that work. And then wrapping up with really whole person care, I think, hearing Leilani talk about understanding the why, Mark talking about being genuinely interested in people and their stories and how important that is. And I hate to be all sentimental, but it's so heartfelt how hard Sarah is willing to work for her clients. And I'm really inspired by that. And I hope other providers will be also. This is hard work, but it's worth it. It's worth it for your clients. It's worth it for their loved ones. And it's worth it for you as a provider. I think actually figuring out how to engage with folks really will be rewarding. So that's sort of overview of the day, and I think sort of summarizing that a bit, we've seen every person's path is really different. People need a range of supports, and these really may vary over time. And over time is kind of the key thing, right? We don't fix substance use disorder, and we don't fix stimulant use disorder. We help people learn how to manage it, improve their health and safety. And for those who want to work on reducing their use, help them reduce their use and stop their use if that's their goal. And that can realistically take years. And it can also be something that comes back again. So we need to figure out how do we bundle those services, whether it's on the healthcare side, the mental health care side, physical healthcare side, housing, basic needs, substance use disorder treatment, harm reduction, recovery supports. These are not in competition. They're not in conflict. They are often in silos, though. And that's really to the detriment of the folks we're trying to serve, and also us for feeling like we're effective in our work. And as was just being pointed out, how important that team-based care is and having all those perspectives brought together. I'm glad there's so much conversation around opioids, and there needs to be. And we need to really raise the visibility in conversations around stimulants, both cocaine, which we did not talk as much about today, and methamphetamine as well, and really raise the vigilance around that. And maybe it's a tougher conversation because the fixes or the solutions don't come as quickly. And so much of this is around harm reduction and is around engagement, which are things that we know how to do. They can be difficult to get funded, very difficult to get funded. So figuring out how do we fund that, particularly among harm reductionists who have real expertise in this, and how do we also bring some of this harm reduction expertise and approaches into other care settings at the same time. We had a really nice compliment and comment earlier in the day from Gina. We were talking about here in the background, and a part of her comment I want to share with you. She said, "I've never heard from so many individuals with lived experience. I've worked with this population for many years, but to hear individuals have this platform is dynamic." And I think that's true. I agree with you. And I hope it will be more normative. I hope it's something that folks can do within their agencies and within their communities, really listen to and be led by folks who lived experience, who understand what they need. They just need an opportunity to contribute and be able to help guide us in the work that we're doing. I want to thank all of our amazing presenters. We're super honored to be able to uplift and spotlight folks, particularly those who lived and living experience around methamphetamine use. I don't think you can see all the DJs in the background. I know you can't, but Aaron McGraw and Allison Newman and Susan Kingston have worked so hard to put this together and to do this work right now. They're probably all going to collapse and fall asleep in about 5 minutes. But thank you so much. And on this audience, you guys have been amazing. Maybe we're slowly figuring out how to do this virtual platform thing, but this has felt really the most engaging I've ever seen folks, and we've been able to engage people in this process. So I really appreciate people's questions and comments and insights. It's just so powerful. And lastly, I know there's a link in the notes here on the side, but also want to share this with you. We really need and want and value your feedback. What went well, what didn't go well, what was missing, what other perspectives or approaches could we bring to this work to be more impactful. So that's it. This has been a really amazing day, and I thank everybody for joining us. And I hope you feel inspired and motivated. I hope you feel like you've got some maybe new tools and new ideas that you can share with folks in your community. So I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us. Take good care.